Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gap where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
It's another remarkable Tuesday, ETUlay and dear wanderers. This is me again, your tutor guide Rem from the division of Lapu-Lapu City, excited to teach you virtually yet heartily. I know that all our dear wanderers are excited to learn something new this afternoon. So let's get started with our, early bird wanderers. I know that a lot of you are excited to learn something today. So do not forget, every Tuesday at 3:40 in the afternoon, you are with us, Tutor Guide Juday and I. I know that Tutor Guide Juday will be with us next week. So do not forget to tag your friends, classmates, and schoolmates so that more will be reached as I teach. All right, so as I have mentioned earlier, let us recognize and appreciate our EBW or our early bird wanderers. I know that a lot of you are here. First, EBW is Let me scroll up. Congratulations to Cyan Antoinette Cortez and Enrico Dalupan from Wow, good afternoon, Tutor Juday and Rem. My name is Enrico Manuel from YouTube. Grabe ni Enrico. We also have Austrin C from Ocampo National High School. Thank you for being our top 2 EBW Austrin. And we also have Philip Ray Mancera from Quirino National High School. Thank you so much for being our top 3 early bird wanderers. All right, so I have something for you, ETUlay and dear wonders. I would like you to type at the comment section your definition, your own meaning of the word happiness. Gusto natin tong salitang ito, happiness. So I am about to check your own definition of the word happiness. Pasensya, medyo yung lalamunan ni Teacher Guide Rem, pero carry lang. Okay, so I would like our ETUlay and dear wonders to give the definition of the word happiness. Wow, may synonym dito, joy, enjoyment. Wow, grabe. You are actually using the informal definition, the informal way of giving meaning to the abstract noun happiness. Wow, thank you so much for that, Philip Ray. Let me check. And Harchi, thank you so much for that. So this time, this very afternoon, you are going to learn more about definitions. But today's topic is very important. Actually, as important as the previous topics that we had. But you discovered about definitions, the technical, operational, and expanded definitions. But today, you will be discovering more and deeper about those topics. Because as you are ready to wonder as you wonder, you will be learning about observing correct grammar in making definitions. Teacher Rem is so excited, but before digging in, I would like to congratulate these wonders who gave nice outputs. So these are from Santa Lucia National High School. One of those are from our Wonder of the Week. So Stay tuned for that. Also from Macabebe High School outputs and from Ocampo National High School. So thank you so much for submitting your outputs. And now let us feature the wow or the wonder of the week. We have actually this wonder was able to submit her outputs. Of course, she was able to cooperatively and actively participate in our session last Tuesday. And take note of this as one of the requirements or qualifications to become the wow. You have to share the video lesson. And she made it. So good job and congratulations to Kerzia Leona Kim Marine from Santa Lucia National High School. Thank you so much, dear Wonder. You are the certified wow. Grabe naman si Kersha. Alright, so as I have mentioned earlier, for today's English and Learning Adventure, you will be learning something about observing correct grammar in making definitions. So you are going to take 3 challenges that makes you earn 3 challenge passes and 15 tokens. How about that? And before I forgot, I would like to appreciate DepEd Navotas for our main module reference for this afternoon. So welcome to the first stop, ETUlay and Dear Wonders, the review spot. So here you can see a blank. So what is this? What is this type of definition that is also known as extended definition because it provides more details in the form of several sentences, especially if the word or phrase has multiple meanings. You can actually key in your answer. This is what? Yes, it's expanded definition. And last Tuesday, you were able to learn more than 10 techniques in expanding definition. We have the etymology, history, cause and effect, description, principles of operation. Number 6, classification, contrast. And number 8, I would like you to identify what is number 8. If there is contrast, there is also what? Comparison. Very good. And the next we have analogy, 10 example. And to complete the techniques in expanding a definition, you have it there. It's visual representation. So that's our first stop, the review spot. Now, dear wonders, welcome to our second stop, the trail thrill, where you can have the first challenge called Spot It. You can have 5 tokens and 1 challenge pass. So now here's what you have to do. You are going to spot the term that is being defined. Wow, very easy. So you are going again to spot, to identify what is the term that is being defined. First, formal language is the term used when writing for professional or academic purposes like university assignments. So, what is the term, what is the word or phrase that is being defined here? Within 3 seconds, and it now begins. I know you can do it. Go, 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 dear wonders. Type the item number together with your answer. Is it what? Wow, thank you for your answer, John, Darrell, Rainiel, Gillian. All of you got it right. It is formal language. You really took the time to participate, to really listen well during our previous discussions about definitions. Correct. Let's reveal the answer, formal language. That's worth 1 token. Let's move to the second item. A technique in expanding definitions that explains the origin of the word is called etymology. 3 seconds, you have to spot or identify what term is being described here. Number 2. All right. Let us check your answer. We have etymology from Faith, etymology from Gerald, the same thing from Maria Janelle Catilig. Wow, the correct answer is indeed etymology. Congratulations, dear wonders. Teacher Rem, tutor guide Rem is so happy. You've got 1 token. More challenging activities later, so take up. Should please Keep watching. Now we have the third item. Fact refers to the information that has been objectively verified. 3 seconds now begin. What is the term that is being described or defined in item number 3? Fact from Philip Ray. Wow, very active. Thank you for that, Philip. Adam Rose. Fact. And Maria Janelle. Wow, a lot of you said it's fact. Indeed, it is. That's the correct answer for number 3. Way to go, dear wonders. We only have 2 more items for the first challenge. Let's have number 4. Respondents are those individuals who participate in a particular study or research. Within 3 seconds, what is the term that is being defined here? Number 4, and the term that is being defined from Faith, it's respondents. From Stephanie, the same word. Wow, Rainiel got another word. The same word, respondents. You got it right. It's respondents, and you've got 1 token for that. And to complete the first challenge, we have this statement: a system of a language that governs the sounds, words, sentences, and other elements, as well as their combination and interpretation, is called grammar. 3 seconds. All right, I know that you can do it. Make it 5/5. Grammar, wow. I thought you would say a system of a language. Gerald, Jillian, and Rainiel, and a lot of you got it right. It is grammar. You've got 1 token, and for the first challenge, you have five tokens. So do not forget to key in your points or the number of tokens that you have just earned from our first challenge. That's 5/5. If not, you can type 4 if you have 1 mistake. That's easy. But along the way, you will be having more challenging trail thrills. So, yes, thank you for still tuning in. So, for this afternoon, dear wonders, you are going to identify the parts of a definition. And you can also determine the patterns used in writing definitions, because this will help you spot which or what is the term that is being used and which part is being highlighted. And the third one is you are going to define a term using correct grammar. This is very important because no matter how good you are in giving definitions, but when your readers, your audience read and, oh, there's something wrong, they cannot really understand because of the erroneous grammar, or maybe they cannot really, you cannot really get your message across properly or excellently or accurately because there's something wrong with your grammar. So see how important is observing correct grammar in making definitions. So just a short recap, a definition explains what a word or phrase means. It tries to capture the etymology, use, and essence of the word or concept being defined. So you have also discovered the 2 types of definitions: formal and informal. So a while ago, I asked you to give your own definition of the abstract noun happiness, and most of you gave me the informal definition. You said it's joy, enjoyment. So that's informal. But this afternoon, we are going to focus on the formal definition, the parts, the patterns, and the guidelines in making definitions. So there you go. So here, I would like you to take note of this. Just a reminder what grammar is. It is a system of a language that governs the sounds, words, sentences, and other elements. And not just that, this has something to do with the combination and interpretation of all of these things. So this afternoon, you will be discovering about the parts and patterns of definitions. You will be enumerating and you will be learning about the guidelines in writing definitions, and be excited because you are going to observe correct grammar and use correct grammar in making definitions. So first off, let's have the three parts of formal definitions: the term, class, and distinguishing characteristic. So first, we have the term. It is a word or phrase that is being defined. This may be introduced by articles the and a. So I know that you are familiar with these articles. If if the word that is being defined is example, umbrella, it begins with the vowel U, right? Ah, umbrella. So what are you going to use? What article? Is it the, and, or a? It's either a or the. But if it's specific, the red umbrella. What kind of umbrella? Red. The red umbrella. So the. The article the must be used. But if it is just a general concept, like you just say, an umbrella is important, especially during rainy days. So use an umbrella, not a umbrella. Okay, I know that you are getting my point. So now, from challenge one, spot it, you actually did well. You were able to spot the terms fact, grammar, and formal language. So these are just the three of the terms that you spotted correctly. So these are example of terms, the words or phrase in the case of formal language, because this is more than a word. So this is phrase. So you were able to spot what is the term that is being defined. So congratulations for that. So now we have the second part, class. So what is class, tutor guide RAM? So this is where the term belongs, also known as category. Example, there are you can see cats, dogs, carabaos, even cats around you. So those are examples of terms or words to be defined. So you cannot just say a cat is, you have to continue. What is a cat? So in order for you to properly give a better definition of a cat, you really have to know the class or the category. What is a cat? Is it what? A plant or animal? It's an animal. So you can say a cat is an animal that, choo choo choo, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. That's an example of a class. Where does the where does the word cat belong? It is what? A plant or animal? It is an animal. So I know that you're getting my point. So this part of definition also gives readers a specific idea of the term being defined. I am excited to really dig deeper about this. So I hope that your connection is good today. So now we have examples of class from our first challenge spotted. So we have here an example sentence from that challenge. Fact refers to the information that has been objectively verified. So what is the class from this sentence? Because during the challenge, you were able to spot the term. How about now? What about the class? Will you be able to spot the class here? I would like to check if your guesses are right. So, from that sentence, what class is that? Okay, please spot the class. You can actually guess. All right, thank you so much. I am Kenneth from watching. Still watching. Wow, thank you so much. Stephanie A. Sabroso and Adam Rose actually got it right. They said information. Very good. Actually, you know very well that we can get a lot of information from our neighbors, from our family members, from your classmates. Anywhere, even the internet gives you ample of information, too much. But the question is that verified? Is that true? That's the very reason why, in giving a definition of this certain word fact, you really have to specify, which is actually a very important part of definition, which I am going to discuss later. So you got it right. The class here is information, the word information. Again, why it is being considered as class because this is where the word fact belongs. Again, not all information is correct or is true. Some are fake, others are good, others are reliable and true. So you really have to identify or define the word fact using this one with the part. The class fact refers to the information. Now, that has been objectively verified. How do you call this part of definition? So that is the distinguishing characteristic. So this is the distinct quality of a term that separates it from the other members of the same class. So let's take the same sentence so that you can actually understand better. So the same sentence, fact, that's the term, refers to the information, that's the class. So there you go. This phrase that has been objectively verified, this is an example of a distinguishing characteristic, the final part of definitions. So you have there the term, fact, the class, information, and the distinguishing characteristic in this sentence that has been objectively verified. So again, this distinguishing characteristic is very important because as what I have mentioned earlier, this allows your word separates that from the others of the same class. As I have mentioned earlier, our class is the word information. There are a lot of information, good, bad, true or untrue, fake. So you really have to specifically state that a fact refers to the information that has been objectively verified. Objectively, because it's not about your feelings. You just try to take information based from your feelings. No, that's subjectively. So this is being emphasized here, objectively verified facts, true, not fake news. Okay, so more examples will be given later. Now, another aspect of this lesson that you have to learn is the pattern. Let me give you two important patterns, which is actually very easy. First pattern one is term equals class plus distinguishing characteristic. So again, we have term equals class plus distinguishing characteristic. This is actually the most common pattern when you give definitions to a word. So here, to more to really understand about this pattern, so we have here an illustration that uses these patterns. So we have here the term, that's A, equals, you can actually use these verbs like is, are, is defined as, refers to, denotes. So these are just some examples of a verb or of verbs that can be used after the word that you are going to define. So in our previous example, we have fact is. So because why is, later you will be discovering more. Why is, why not are. So term equals class, that's B, plus distinguishing characteristic C. So here, before stating the distinguishing characteristics, I know that you have observed this, there must be something like a phrase or a word before that. So you can see which or that of plus the ing form of the verb plus or the noun by which for and the past participle form of the verb en. So for our examples, you will be noticing all of these words or phrases. So now we have pattern one example. A square is a polygon that has four equal sides. So the term that is being defined here is square. That's our term. And polygon is our class. You got it right. And what about our distinguishing characteristic? Yes, has four equal sides. So now, the term that is being defined is square. Very easy. The class is polygon. Why, Teacher Ram? We know you know your mathematics or even science. There are many types of polygons. You have triangle, right? You have rectangle, right? Okay. You also have hexagon, a lot of polygons actually. So that's the very reason why the third part, which is the distinguishing characteristic, is very important because you cannot just simply say a square is a polygon. A triangle is also a polygon. A hexagon is also a polygon. So, what's the difference? So, there must be a distinct quality. That's the very reason why distinguishing characteristic must be included in giving definitions. So, in this sentence, has four equal sides is your distinguishing characteristic. All right, now let's move to the second pattern, pattern number two. We have here the same parts, okay? We are talking this about the same parts here, term, class, and distinguishing characteristic. But there are a few changes here. I think only one change. So it's kind of tricky, but very simple actually. Simple yet tricky. How about that? So first we have class. Class distinguishing characteristic equals, yes, you got it, term. So as you may notice, the term here doesn't come at the beginning. It is now being placed at the end. So again, pattern 2 looks like this. Class plus distinguishing characteristics equals term. So the same thing here. So you have understood that class is the B plus you can see which or that, a demonstrative and relative pronoun. You also have C, the distinguishing characteristics equals term. But before the term, you are going to say is or is called. For plural subjects, you can say are or are called. Known is known or are known as. Okay, now let's go to the example, dear wanderers. We have here the same idea, the same term that is being defined, square, but take note of the pattern using pattern 2. So we have here a polygon that has four equal sides is square. So now we have here polygon. Is this the term that is being defined? No, no, no. This is actually is it the class or the distinguishing characteristic? Very good. It's the class. All right. So how about has four equal sides? Easy, right? This is the distinguishing characteristic. And how about the term? Wow. Square, that's the term that is being defined here. So as you may notice, binaliktad lang. In a reverse way, yung pattern 2 sa pattern 1. But take note, this is not merely reversing or doing it invertedly, but you really have to observe correct grammar, which is actually our next aspect to be discussed, the guidelines in writing definitions. So you have learned the parts, the patterns. Now we have here, okay, here I am emphasizing that you can actually say is square or you can also use is called square. I think Ma'am May would like to say something.
Hello, Ma'am Rem, and hello to
Yes,
our
Ma'am
learners
May.
there. Okay, so
Welcome,
as
Ma'am
you can
May.
hello, grade 10 learners, and hello to some of the teachers here that we have in the comment section. As you can see here, Tutor Rem provided us ano ba yan, Tutor Rem na hinakabahan tuloy ako.
Go, go, go.
Provided us with two ways of how we will create our definition. She presented us with patterns. And what's the difference? So first we have the the class and the distinguishing characteristic. That's the first pattern. Now we have the class here, distinguishing characteristic, and then the term. Now you come to see here that the arrangement of how we will be defining something has a lot to do on what is our pattern. If our of what is our focus, sorry, if what again, based on how we will based on the pattern that we will follow, it has a lot to do with our focus. if
Yes.
our focus if our focus is the term, then we will use the first pattern. If our focus is the class, therefore we will do the second pattern. What do I mean by this? Example, if you have a paper on biology, example, you want to emphasize your definition of apes. Okay, of apes. If example you opened with you started your definition that apes are mammals. Mammals is the class teacher, di ba? So if your focus
Sorry.
is defining apes, then the first pattern will be followed. But if your focus will be mammals, di ba? A
Yes.
mammal that can walk, something like that, like, or that kind of definition, if you want to focus on mammals rather than apes, then you will follow the second pattern. So it's how you will decide, or when you are deciding on the pattern of your definition, you have to decide what is your focus. Are you focusing
Yes.
on the term, or are you focusing on the class? Yeah, go ahead, Tutor Rem.
I like that. Thank you for that. Shooter Guide May, our program head slash director. Thank you so much for that big help. Yes, you have heard it right. That's a very important aspect of choosing which pattern to be used. So it depends upon which you are trying to emphasize, the term or the class. So thank you for that, Tutor Guide May. Naki-tutor guide ako. Thank you so much for that. So let's
No,
continue, dear
welcome.
wonders. So here we have. Okay, as I have mentioned, you can actually say is square, or you can use the phrase is called square. So there you go. Now let's have the guidelines in writing definitions. I will only give you 5 important guidelines. So I have a question for you, dear wonders. What's wrong with this definition of the word of the term research? That's my question. All right. Was. That is something wrong. Why? Why is it wrong? Okay, the correct verb to be used is. Why is that, teacher guide Rem? Because you have to use simple present tense to describe
Mm-hmm.
habits and changing situations, general truths, and fixed arrangements. So here, not research was, because it is what? The general truth. And research, the definition of research is still the same, right? Tutor guide me. So do not
That's
use
true.
was. It must be the simple present tense is. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have here the 20 respondents of the research is graduates of Tatak Basak Night High School. Question, Kaitulay and dear wonders, what's wrong in this definition?
Mm-hmm. Nice question,
Mm-hmm.
Tutor Ram. Okay, let's see if our tutors can find out the incorrect item in the given sentence that we have on the screen.
Let's
Again,
check.
again, the sentence says the 20 respondents of the research is graduates of the Takbasak NHS. And we have
Mm-mm.
Faith here, Gerald
Wow.
answering that it should be R. Okay, so let's analyze pa tutor Remha and see what
Mm-mm.
is the main subject, since we have two adjacent nouns before
Yes.
our linking verb is. What is our
Mm-mm.
main subject? Okay, so
Correct.
if okay, so that we can test that our learners are not guessing, they really know the
Correct.
grammar concept here. What
Yes,
is the
yes,
main
yes.
subject here in our sentence?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's see
One,
the
one,
respondents.
yes, yes. I would like to read this from Sir Well, one of our most supportive teachers. He said, Tutor Guide may take note of the
Mm-hmm.
subject verb agreement.
Yes, that's
Thank you
true.
for that, sir. Yes.
And is their
Hmm.
answer correct, Tutor Rem, that the main subject is respondents, not the research?
Yes, actually, Faith Tarabago said it's the respondents, which is actually correct. So do not be confused with the off phrase here. So we have here the 20 respondents is the subject. So is wrong and the verb
Mm-hmm.
must be are. So in this
Mm-hmm.
manner, you have to omit a. So
Yes.
the 20 respondents of the research are graduates of Tatak Basak NHS because tutor guide may subjects and verbs must agree with
Yes.
one another in number. So use
Mm-hmm.
plural verbs for plural subjects
Mm-hmm.
and singular verbs for singular
Yes,
subjects. So the
that's
20
true.
respondents of the research are graduates of Tatak Basak NHS. All right.
Okay, so I would like to also add, Shooter Ram, that I
Go
also see
ahead
this in
po.
research paper. Okay, there's no
Mm-mm.
such a thing as researches. Shooter Ram, ang daming gumagamit ito.
Mm-mm.
Researches and evidences. Okay, so if you are
Mm.
explaining your research paper and you want to make or you want to say that evidence, there are many
Mm-mm.
there are many pieces of evidence. Okay, you have considered a lot of research work. Okay, so you don't
Mm-mm.
say researches, you don't say evidences. These
Yes.
nouns are mass nouns or non-count nouns. So if you
Correct.
want to pluralize these nouns, you have to use quantifiers. So like what I said, pieces of wait lang. What's pieces of information
Pieces of
that can
information.
be,
Mm-mm.
yes, different various research works can be, but not researches, various research works. What's the other one, teacher? Pieces of evidence. Yes, that
Mm-mm.
can be pieces of evidence, but never
Yes.
researches and evidences. Okay, so
True.
aside from SVA, grade 10 learners, you also have to take note of nouns that we cannot put a plural form to because they are mass nouns. Therefore, we have to add quantifiers. Okay, to the RAM.
Thank you so much for that, Tutor Guide Me. Please remember that because that's very important. And yet it's common, right? I can agree. It's really
Mm-hmm.
common, but no, it's not research, it's not evidences. So there you go. And our third statement we have here, what is wrong with this definition? Etymology is a technique in expanding definitions that explains the origin of a word. Let's try to
Mm-hmm.
check their answers. Spot what's wrong. Okay. So, wow, a lot of our
Very
dear
confusing, shooter
wonders.
rim, huh?
Yes,
That's very
correct.
confusing.
So we have one from Stephanie, Tutor Guide May. It's, yeah, techniques should be technique. Wow, may statement talaga may paganon. From Ina, should not be there. You should not be there. Okay, let's try to check. Yeah, if they got it right. So we have here, yes, you got it right. What's wrong with this definition is the class. Okay, because the word techniques is the class.
Mm-hmm.
But this is in S form. And our
Yes.
term here is etymology,
Mm-hmm.
obviously singular. So let's try to correct this one. So instead of using a techniques, you have to say is a technique in
Mm-hmm.
expanding definitions that explains the origin of a word. Because
Mm-hmm.
our third guideline states that the class, which is technique here, or
Mm-hmm.
category and the term being defined must agree in numbers. So if
Yes,
the
that's true.
subject is singular, the class must be singular. So maybe,
Aside from that,
yes po.
shooter rim, okay. So as
Sorry po.
we can see, it's okay. You know, Chuta Rem, everybody is feeling not well, but because
Mm-mm.
she's so determined to have the session, she is present with us. That's why nakaalalay si Teacher May kasi talagang masamang pakiramdam ni Tutor Rem. Okay, so let's give Tutor Rem a virtual applause, everybody in the comment section.
It's
Aside
okay
from
po. It's
that, no,
okay. My
it's
pleasure.
yes. Aside from that, everybody, no, we have our if we will be very grammatical about this, our subject is
Mm,
etymology. Now, etymology,
mm-mm.
like what teacher Rem said, it's acting as our term here in the definition. Now, our class or category will be technique. And if you can see, this is like grammatically speaking, this is our predicate nominative. What is the technique? It's the etymology. So if our subject is singular, our predicate nominative, which will be in this case, the category will also be singular. So they have to go, they should be parallel, compatible in terms of number. Aside from that, you cannot use a and an, those determiners in a singular noun. It's always an apple, a chair. But for the determiner the, yung sabi ni teacher Rem kanina na mas specific, the, you can use the singular or the plural forms of the verb. Example, fishes, apes are are the mammals that live in forests. You can do that because the apes there will be your class or category, and the mammals and the apes agree in number. So I hope that's clearer to
Yes.
you, or that provides more enlightenment to you grade 10 learners. So grammatically speaking, your subject and your predicate nominative, the noun before the linking verb, should be agreeing in number, singular, singular, plural, and plural. Go on, tutor Rem.
Yes. So etymology, this is etymology, not etymology, okay? You know, the letter O is being omitted unintentionally, but yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for that, program head May. So now the next statement is metaphor is a word. Aside from the space, what went wrong here? So let me read again. Metaphor is a word that describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally true, but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. So I have a question, dear wonders. What is wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the space. Aside from the space. So what is wrong here? Okay, let me try to check if our dear wonders are still here with us. Wow, still watching. Thank you for that, Janice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, metaphor is a word that describes an object or action in a way that it isn't literally true. So, actually, you cannot really spot something like, erroneous grammar here, but
Mm-hmm.
you can actually take note of the class. So, first, identify the class, spot the class. What's wrong with my camera? Okay, spot the class here.
It's okay, tutor
Okay,
Rem. It turned
the
violet. So like
yes,
BTS.
I don't know. I
Borahe.
Saranghe. All right. So, wow, tutor guide me actually. We have one wonder here who got it right. She provides us a phrase. Correct. You actually it is being flashed there. Figure of speech. Wow. So Faith
Mhm.
actually has spotted the class, which is a word, and she tried to supply us with a more appropriate class,
Mhm.
which is actually figure
True.
of speech.
That's
Because,
true.
yeah, you got it right. Our next guideline is you really have to be specific about the class, dear wonders. So it must be metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally
Mm-hmm.
true but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. So do not
Comparison.
just say
Mm-hmm.
metaphor is a word or is the word. What is metaphor? It is actually a figure of speech, not part of speech, okay? It's not a noun,
Mm-hmm.
pronoun, speech, verb. Speech,
Yes.
verb. It is figures with simile, metaphor, personification, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So thank
Mm-hmm.
you for that, Faith. And maybe Tutor Guide May would like to add something here.
Uh, no, none naman teacher, tutor Rem, but like what you said, we have to be specific with the class. Example, one more example, ruler is an
Mm-mm.
object. We know it's an
Yes.
object. example, ruler is an object that we use that we use in our everyday lives. That definition is very
Mm-mm.
poor, okay? Because
Yeah, it's
ruler
vague.
has
It's not clear.
it's vague, it's not clear. We have to be specific
Yes,
with what class does ruler belong
true.
to. Can we say office supplies? Can we say measuring instrument? Okay.
Yes,
What's the purpose of of being specific with the class? It's because you are defining something. You are not
correct.
clouding the
Mm-mm.
understanding of your readers, but you're trying to help them understand the terms that
Yes,
you are trying to define in your paper, especially if it's a research work.
correct. Thank you for that, Tutor Guide May. So there you have it, dear wanderers. And the last guidance that we have. But before that, I would like to ask you what is wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
Distant learning is a method of learning in which lectures are broadcast or classes are conducted by correspondence or over the internet without the students needing to attend a school or college. Distant learning is a method of learning. So actually, there's no major
Mm-hmm.
error or mistake here, dear wanderers. But in order for you to give definitions to a certain word in your research
Mm-hmm.
paper, you really have to help your audience get your idea
Yes.
easily, right, tutor guide me?
Mm-hmm.
So in
That's
here,
true.
you have to take note of the word learning because as you may notice, obviously, it's being repeated. Distant learning is a method of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have the synonym for this. You can have distant learning is a method of studying in which, so because our fifth and the last guideline in writing definition is, dear wanderers, you have to avoid repetition of the same
Mm-hmm.
words. So
That's
method of
true.
studying instead of say learning, just like this one tutor guide me, online
Mm-hmm.
education is a form of education. So,
Yeah,
you really
yeah.
have to, yeah, avoid repetition, dear wanderers. So I hope
Yes.
that it did help you.
Um, we have here a question by Adam Ross. Hindi specific yung class. Actually, specific naman yung class, Adam Ross, but we have repeated the same term
Mm-mm.
that are juxtaposed from one another. Napakalapit kasi. Distant learning is a
Mm-mm.
method of learning. Diba? It sounds repetitive, and English language has so many words that you can use, 'di ba? But teacher, can we use
Mm-mm.
the same word naman in a certain work? Yes, you may
Yes po.
use it, basta hindi sobrang lapit. Maybe you can use, example,
Mm-mm.
you want to use the word learning again. You can use it like in the
Mm-mm.
second sentence, not
Yes.
in the same sentence kasi it sounds repetitive. It's like
Mm-mm.
as a writer, it also seems like you did not pay attention to uh, to the words that you will employ in your
Mm-mm.
writing. You're not keen enough. You did not exert more effort
Yes.
enough so that you can also think of other words and inhibit the repetition of terms in one
Mm-mm.
sentence. Aside from that, tutor Rem, meron kasi kaninang contraction yung isn't. We also try to
Yes.
avoid that. Okay? Siguro
Mm-mm.
hindi lang nakita, or that's one error na
Yes.
dapat na point out namin
Correct.
kanina.
Mm-mm.
Kasi we don't really use contraction, especially for formal
Formal.
writing.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
if
Thank
you
you for
say
that.
is not or not, pwede yun. Meron tanong si Ruel Santos, how about the word broadcast? Let's see. Teacher Rem,
Mm-mm.
distant learning is a method of studying in which lectures are broadcasts. Oo, tutor. In terms of parallelism po, dapat
Okay.
our
It has.
broadcasts ay parang
Yes po.
teacher, parang dapat mas specific tayo in which lectures
Mm-mm.
are in the form of broadcasts. Pero tama pa rin,
Mm-mm.
dapat to plural form, in which lectures
Mm-mm.
are in the form of broadcasts or classes are conducted by correspondence over the internet without the students needing to attend a school or college. Yes, thank you for pointing that out to us.
Okay,
Tutor
so
M.
going, let me just add, Tutor Guide May. The
Mm-hmm.
class here actually is a method of studying. So I guess this is specific. So, yeah, and with that, when you say our broadcast, or I think Sir Ruel wanted to say, would you mind if you will say are broadcasted? No, it has to be our broadcast or classes are conducted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is
Mm-hmm.
actually how acceptable
Mm-hmm. Pero
because
tutor Rem ha,
broadcasted is actually
oo. Oo. We can have the verb form for broadcasted. Broadcast
mm-mm,
can be a noun and also a verb. Pero let's also see
past
that and
participle.
check the
Yeah.
dictionary. Aside from that,
Mm-mm.
this definition can still be simplified. So for
Yes
the
po,
sake of
yes.
concision and to make it simpler for our learners, we can avoid having passive forms pa tutor rem. We can
Yes.
avoid
Mm-mm.
writing our definitions in the passive form. Kung natandaan nyo
Mm-mm.
grade 10 learners, yung lecture ninyo or yung lesson ninyo ng grade 9, grade 7, active versus passive, we want our definitions in the active voice
Active.
as
Mm-mm.
oo, as many as possible. Or kung yun kung paano ba, mas marami dapat or we should avoid putting our research our writing in the passive voice. Dapat laging active.
Yes.
Aside from
Mm-mm.
that, tama si Ina, uh, we avoid contraction, the is not. Sir Ruel has another question, has to do with passive voice po yata. Maybe, Teacher Ruel, we can use passive pero dapat limited. Oo, dapat our definitions and our writing in a research work must be in an active voice. Okay, I hope that's clear to the RAM.
All right. So thank you for that. Wow, we have an active wonders and kaitula here. So welcome to challenge
True.
number 2. Identify it. So here's what you have to do. You're going to identify what part of definition is the underlined word or phrase. So you have 5 seconds to do that. Is it A, term, B, class, or C, distinguishing characteristics? So you have here 5 seconds. Okay, very easy. It is letter B, class. Okay, I think many of you got it right. Congratulations. Now let's proceed to the second item. You've got one token for that. Resilience is the ability to withstand adversity and bounce back from difficult life events. Is it A, B, or C? You've got 5 seconds. Number 2, is it A, B, or C? Okay, very good. 2A. Good job, Faith. Now, let's reveal the answer. It's letter A, term. Okay, what about number 3? A sonnet is a lyrical poem made up of 14 lines and usually built on a traditional rhyme scheme. A, B, or C? Very easy. Okay, it's distinguishing characteristic. Okay, all of you got it right. Those who answer, you've got one token. And now we have number 4. A browser is a software program used to look at various resources on the internet. 5 seconds. Time is up for 2 tokens. Software program is a class. So I know that you are excited to type there at the comment section the number of tokens that you have earned from the final thrill. This is more challenging. So all you have to do is to supply. Okay, dear wonders, we only have 2 items for this last challenge. So for this, you are going to supply an appropriate word or phrase to complete the following statement. So we have here number 1, metaphor is the blank. So we have 3 words here. A phrase that describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally true but helps explain an idea or make a comparison.
Mhm.
So you have 5 seconds.
Tutor, meron ng isang sagot. Kay Philip Ray.
Wow, figure of speech. Easy. Okay, what about the next one? Very easy. Grabe ang pagka-generous ni tutor guide ngayon. ETUlay is an, okay, we have here actually missing letters. Okay, I know that you can answer it, but bumawi tayo tutor May sa sa postcard. Parang mas challenging yon. So it's an
Oo.
online tutorial program that helps students with their modules. So you have, wow,
Yes.
5 tokens, and for 3 challenges, you have 3 challenge passes and 15 tokens. And for the learning postcard, dear wonders, you are going to okay, definition of terms is, part of a research paper. So all you have to do, you are going to choose 5 or baka sabihin ni tutor guide may 20 unfamiliar terms.
Ang
Joke
dami,
lang po.
hindi
To be
nakakayanin
defined
yun.
to be
Ang
defined
dami.
for your study
Mhm.
about the effectivity of the ETUlay online tutorial. So this is just
Yes.
a scenario. So
Mhm.
you are
Mhm,
going to
mhm.
choose 5 unfamiliar terms sa research nyo na about sa effectivity of the ETUlay online tutorial. So you have to make sure to define each using
Mhm.
correct grammar. Baka
Yes.
mas pahirapan pa ito ni Ma'am May.
Ay, hindi na, actually that's a good activity for our tutors, so that they can practice how they make terms, or how they will be defining terms. Kasi 'di ba, if I'm not mistaken, tutor Rem, nasa chapter 2 ito, no? Nasa definition of
Definition of
terms.
terms, yes po.
Oo, nasa chapter 2 to ng research work.
Before everything, before anything
Oo.
else, dapat
Oo,
talaga ito.
tama. Before tayo mag-review ng literature at
Yes.
mag-discuss ng study or discuss ng result, kailangan talaga ng definition of terms. That's why we are
Yes.
teaching this to you, grade 10 learners. Yung definition of terms, it's not something that we should neglect. Sabi nga natin, definition of terms lang naman yan, tutor. Bakit pa kailangan nating pagbuhusan ng oras? It's because definition of terms are very important, especially if you are in the discussion of your results already, because you will be using the terms, or aside from the discussion of the results, you will use the terms, the one that you establish in the review of literature. If the terms are not good, then your review of literature might not be clear for those who will be reading your research, and also in the result of your study, the terms, because you'll be using lots of labels, diba, to discuss your study. If the important terms are not well established, I mean their definitions, it might be hard for you to defend your study. So we do not neglect the definition of terms, no matter how easy it looks like.
True.
Okay, Tutor Rem?
Yes, paki-SS, 1, 2, 3, SSD. So here's the link or the QR code where you can submit your output. So thank you for that. Congratulations, dear wonders, and thanks to you, Ma'am May. Dear wonders, you have discovered the parts and parents of definitions, and you were able to enumerate and understand the guidelines in writing definitions, and you tried to use correct grammar in making definitions.
That's true.
So good job, dear wonders, and thank you for our references for today's afternoon. And yes, you can have your feedback, you can have the link and the QR code. So yes, there you go. We have here our program head / director / tutor guide sa ating English and Learning Adventure this afternoon. So thank you for sharing this video lesson along with the rest of the English GHS video lessons from grade 7, 8, 9, and these lessons. So this is once again your tutor guide Rem with Ma'am May, reminding you of what is there on Proverbs 10:28. The hope of the righteous is gladness, but the expectation of the wicked is destruction. So be
true.
good and stay good. Right, tutor guide May?
Yes. And being good, tutor Rem, is knowing how to use the patterns of definition and making sure that the grammar that they will be employing in defining the terms in their research work is correct. Okay, so we have to establish clarity as well as organization in our definition. So I hope whenever you'll be passing research work to Sir Ruel from our students from Santa Lucia, the learning will be apparent. So, tutor Rem,
thank you so much for that. Ang galing naman ng paadlib dyan, tutor guide May. This has been your tutor guide Rem. Happy to have Ma'am May today. And I hope tutor guide will be us next Tuesday. Thank you, Sir Ruel, and the rest of the teachers who are here with us. And thank you so much to ETUlay and dear wonders. God loves you so much. See you next Tuesday. Bye!
Bye! Barahe!
Saranghe!
Saranghe!
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!